Story number 1. I've driven long haul for nearly 20 years. I've seen it all. Tornadoes ripping through farmland, black ice skidding 18-wheelers like toy cars, and towns so empty you'd swear they were abandoned decades ago. But nothing ever got under my skin like what I saw on Highway 97, near mile marker 210. Locals call that stretch the median mile. It's cursed. Truckers whisper about it at gas stations and diners. A man who stands in the median at night, always staring, never moving. You blink and he's gone. Sometimes your CB dies when you pass him. Sometimes your radio fills with static. Sometimes he follows you. I didn't believe in ghost stories, but I believe in what I saw that night. It was early October, fog heavy as wet wool. I had a run from Kansas City to Cheyenne, Wyoming, mostly smooth roads, light cargo, just a shipment of old vending machines. I planned to hit the halfway point by midnight, stop at the Eagles Rest Truck Plaza, and finish the drive in the morning. But at exactly 11:49 p.m., I passed mile marker 210, and that's when everything went wrong. I first noticed it when the lights on my dash flickered. Just once. Then the radio switched to static. I thought maybe it was a tower issue or moisture in the wires. I tapped the dash. Everything came back, then dropped again. That's when I saw him, standing right in the center of the grassy median. A man. No car. No flashlight. No reflective gear. Just standing. He wore a suit. Not a tux or anything fancy. Just a black suit, no tie. He had a pale face and no hair. Not bald, just smooth. No eyebrows, no lashes. His hands were hanging loose, palms forward. He was facing my truck, perfectly still. I slowed instinctively. He didn't move. I blinked. He was gone. I looked in the mirrors. Nothing. Shoulder, road, trees, nothing but fog and asphalt. I shook it off. Lack of sleep. Weird lighting. But something gnawed at me, made me switch off the music, made me check my mirrors too often. That's when I saw him again, standing on the right shoulder, 10 feet from my cab. He hadn't been there a second ago. I jerked the wheel slightly out of reflex. My trailer rocked. I corrected quickly. No car behind me. I looked in the mirror again. He was still there, still not moving, still staring. I floored it. Didn't care about fuel. Didn't care about cops. I just needed to get off that highway. CB was dead. Radio wouldn't pick up a signal. GPS was spinning in place like I'd gone off grid. I hit the next rest stop I saw, an empty loop of pavement with one busted vending machine and a trash can overflowing with soda cups. I parked, locked the doors, and sat with the engine idling. Then my lights flickered again. Low beams. High beams. Off. Back on. Off. On. Then nothing. Dark. I fumbled for the dome light. Nothing. Then my phone lit up. Unknown caller. I shouldn't have answered, but I did. Silence. Then static. Then breathing. Not rushed. Not panicked. Just slow, raspy breathing like someone sitting inches from the mic. I hung up. The call came again. Unknown caller. I turned the phone off. Turned itself back on. Battery at 1%. I just charged it fully an hour ago. Then headlights appeared in my side mirror, only they weren't from a car. They were too high. Floating. White. No engine sound. Just glowing, inching closer. I reached for the ignition. Dead. My truck wouldn't turn over. The lights got closer. Then I saw him. Not outside. Inside. In the bunk mirror. Standing directly behind my seat. I whipped around. No one there. But the cab was freezing. I could see my breath fogging the air. Then a whisper. Clear. Unmistakable. You left me in the road. I tried the ignition again. Nothing. Again. Dead. I slammed my fist into the wheel. The headlights outside blinked off. The cab lights blinked on. Everything was normal. Truck started. Radio returned to classic rock. GPS locked back on. Phone rebooted like nothing happened. I floored it. Didn't stop at Eagles Rest. Didn't stop in Cheyenne. I drove until sunrise and pulled into a crowded truck stop just to be around people. The weirdest part? When I checked the truck, One of the vending machines had its front shattered, like someone punched it from the inside, but it was still sealed. No access doors disturbed. I transferred the cargo as scheduled. Never said a word. A week later, another driver from our company vanished on that same stretch. Found his rig parked perfectly in a ditch, engine off, keys still in the ignition. Cab empty. No damage. Just no driver. The logs showed the truck stopped at exactly 11:49 p.m., right by mile marker 210. I don't take that highway anymore. I don't drive nights either. But sometimes when I check my mirror, I still see the man. Not standing. Sitting. In my back seat. Smiling. Waiting for me to stop. Story number 2. The CB radio crackled, then hissed to life with a voice that didn't belong. Breaker. Breaker. Anyone got a copy? I was cruising down Highway 2 through northern Montana, just past midnight. Moon high, snow flurries dancing across my windshield like ashes. It was the kind of cold that felt ancient, like the land itself had gone quiet to let something older speak. My rig, Old Mercy, was humming steady beneath me. 22 tons of steel and sealed crates headed west. Alone on the road, no lights ahead or behind. I reached for the mic, flipped to channel 19. 10-4. I hear ya. Who's calling? Silence. Then static, like the sound of wind clawing at an open mic. Then a voice. I need help. It's so dark out here. It didn't sound like a trucker. Young. Maybe early 20s. Voice shaky, scared. You broken down? I asked. Where you at? No response. Just heavy breathing. Then a whisper. I don't know. I think I'm not alone. That's when I noticed something strange on my GPS. The road I was on, still there, but my icon had vanished. Like I'd gone invisible. I looked around. Still moving forward, still on pavement. But the signs were missing. The markers, the posts. It was like the world outside had flattened. Empty trees, white snow, no sound. I flipped channels. Everyone was dead. Then channel 19 again. The same voice. He's in the trailer. I locked it, but he keeps knocking. Who? I asked. You got someone riding back there? No answer. I pulled over, rolled to a stop in the shoulder, flipped the hazard lights. They didn't blink. I got out, looked in the mirror. My trailer was fine, but the snow around me, it wasn't falling anymore. It was floating, just hanging in the air, like someone paused time. Then 3 slow knocks from inside my trailer. Boom, boom, boom. I backed away. Nobody was supposed to be back there. I carried machine parts sealed and certified. No stops since the warehouse. I pulled out my flashlight and crept to the back. The seal? Still intact. But the metal was warm. Breathing warm. That's when I heard the CB crackle again. Louder now, through the open cab window. He wants a driver. I ran back inside, grabbed the mic. Who the hell is this? You trying to scare people? The reply chilled my spine. You opened the channel. You invited him in. The rig shook violently, like something massive had climbed aboard. I felt the weight shift, suspension groan. The road ahead twisted. I swear it changed. The yellow lines curled like veins. The trees leaned in like they were watching. A sign passed by that read, "Welcome back, driver." I hadn't turned around. I stomped on the gas. The engine roared, the wheels spun, and finally caught traction. I shot forward down a road I didn't recognize. My high beams barely cut through the dark, which now looked more like oil than air. Then something ran across the road. Tall, thin, wearing a long coat. No face. It didn't run from me. It ran with me, alongside the cab, matching my speed. Turned slowly and tapped on my window. Not with fingers, with nails. I swerved, clipped a snowbank, but kept going. No exit signs. No other vehicles. Just my breath, my engine, and that whisper, "You're the last one. Don't stop, or he'll get out." Suddenly, the CB went full static. Painful, sharp, like someone screaming underwater. Then clear as crystal. Too late. I felt the trailer burst open. Felt the rig shudder as weight spilled out onto the road. I hit the brakes. Mistake. Everything went black. When I came to, it was dawn. I was parked at a rest stop 200 miles west. No memory of getting there. Fuel half full. No damage to the trailer. No seal on the back door, just chains. Old chains, rusted shut. Nothing I put on. Inside, empty. The crates were gone. Not stolen. Gone. No bolts, no straps, no evidence they'd ever been there. My dispatcher didn't believe me. Warehouse denied ever giving me that load. Said I took a different route entirely. Said I logged in at stops I never visited. But I know what happened. Because 2 weeks later, I was passing through Utah and flipped on Channel 19 out of habit. A familiar voice came through. Breaker. Anyone got a copy? And then softer. He's still in here. Please? Someone answer. Now I drive with my CB off. Always. And I never, ever answer a call I don't recognize. Because once you talk to the dead on 19, they know your voice. And they ride with you. Forever. Story number 3. I've driven the same route from Denver to El Paso for 6 years. US 285 to 160, cut through Alamosa, then push through the desert into New Mexico. By now, I know every diner, every station, every rock formation on the side of the road. But I will never, never drive past mile 441 again. It started as a normal haul. Furniture freight, box tight in a sealed trailer, nothing fancy. I left Denver just before sundown, hoping to beat the worst of the nighttime desert chill. About an hour south of Alamosa, I passed a rusted old sign I'd never noticed before. Mile 441. Do not stop after dark. I blinked, thought maybe it was a joke. But the way the sign leaned like it was hiding felt wrong. There were no reflectors. The numbers were hand-painted. Looked old, but not abandoned. Like someone wanted it to stay hidden during the day. I kept going. About 15 minutes later, my headlights flickered once. Just once. The sky was cloudless. Moon bright enough to light the road even without them. But something told me to check the mirror. That's when I saw her. A woman, barefoot, walking in the middle of the 2-lane highway. Long white nightgown, hair matted and dark. She wasn't hitchhiking. She wasn't lost. She was just walking toward me. I swerved to the left lane. She didn't react, didn't look. My trailer passed by with only inches to spare. I stopped a quarter mile down, hit the brakes, grabbed my flashlight, and jogged back down the road. Nothing. No woman. No footprints. No sound. Just silence. Even the wind had died. I climbed back into the cab, locked the doors, and pushed on. My hands were shaking. About 3 miles later, I noticed my odometer blink. Literally blink. Like the numbers glitched. Then the dash read, mile 441. That made no sense. I'd passed the sign 10 miles ago. But the road ahead looked familiar. Same rock formation. Same crooked tree to the right. Same flicker in the headlights. Then I saw her again. Same woman. Same position. Closer this time. She didn't walk toward me. She was just there. I didn't stop. Just gripped the wheel and floored it. 10 more miles passed. GPS still looping the same stretch. Mile marker didn't change. My CB picked up faint static, then this, "You need to let her in." Voice was flat, like a bored operator. Male. Repeating. "You need to let her in." Then silence. No matter how far I drove, the dash read 441. That stretch of road wouldn't end. Then the cab lights flicked on. Bright, blinding white. And she was in my passenger seat. Head turned. Eyes black. Not hollow. Filled with something oily and twitching. Her mouth opened and something clicked inside her jaw. Then she whispered, "You didn't stop the first time. You owe me a ride." I slammed on the brakes. She didn't budge. Just turned her head a full 180 degrees to stare directly into mine. Then she smiled. Her mouth opened far too wide, cheeks splitting. No blood, just more blackness. Like her mouth led somewhere else entirely. I opened the door and jumped out. Rolled across the asphalt. Skinned my palms and knees. Didn't care. When I looked back, the cab was empty, truck running, no lights on, just the hum of the engine and that same rusted road sign 10 feet ahead. Mile 441. Do not stop after dark. I was back. I ran. No flashlight, no signal, just my boots on cracked blacktop. Eventually, headlights appeared behind me. A car. An old Pontiac, low to the ground with rusted plates. The driver stopped. An old man leaned out the window and said, "You been on the loop, haven't you?" I nodded. He opened the passenger door. "Get in. She doesn't follow cars." I didn't ask questions. When we passed the 442 marker, my phone buzzed. 10 missed calls. 3 hours had passed. My truck was found later, parked on the shoulder. Engine dead. Doors wide open. No sign of forced entry. No freight missing. Just a woman's footprint on the dashboard. I had the rig towed and sold it the next week. Now I drive short hauls. Never at night. Never past 441. But sometimes when I flip past static on the CB, I hear it again. "You need to let her in." And once, just once, I answered, and she laughed. Story number 4. The call came through dispatch around 3:20 a.m. Urgent freight, double pay, no questions asked. Warehouse pickup just outside Amarillo, straight shot to a private drop south of Flagstaff. The only rule, keep the trailer sealed. I'd done weirder runs before, military surplus, classified equipment, even one load where I had to sign an NDA before touching the gear. So I shrugged, filled my thermos, and rolled out. The warehouse was silent. No forklifts, no workers. Just a lone guy in coveralls and dark glasses, even at night. He handed me the manifest. Blank. No item numbers, no weight, just my name and the route. He placed his gloved hand on my shoulder and said, "Don't stop. Not for anything. No matter what you hear." I gave a nervous laugh, expecting him to break the tension. He didn't. Just turned and vanished into the shadows as the bay doors sealed shut behind me. I got about 80 miles out before the CB started hissing. Channel 19 was dead. 21, 22, 23, nothing but static. Then, on 24, "Driver, you've got something that doesn't want to be delivered." I snapped the dial off and kept going. The desert was quiet, black, the kind of night where your high beams feel like a matchstick. Somewhere past Gallup, my trailer began to shift. Started subtle, just a tug. Then, metal groaning, like something inside had woken up. I checked the rear cam. Nothing. No movement. But my suspension was dipping slightly, like someone was pacing back and forth in the trailer. Heavy steps. Calculated. Then came the knock. Just once. Right behind my seat. I froze. Another knock. I grabbed the tire iron from the side rack, flung open the cab door, and bolted out, circling the trailer. Seal still intact. Ice cold to the touch. No footprints. No lights. No sound. Then I heard it again. Inside. Knuckles against steel. Slow. Deliberate. Boom. 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 Then a voice, muffled but clear, from inside the trailer. "Let me out. It's too dark." I jumped back in and drove. Didn't stop for fuel. Didn't eat. Just eyes forward and foot heavy. Then the radio turned itself on. My old radio, AM only, played something that wasn't music. A dragging sound. Then a wet whisper. "Almost there. Almost out." I passed a rest stop around 4 a.m. A trucker stood outside his rig, waving frantically. His mouth was open wide like he was screaming, but no sound came out. I slowed, and then I saw his eyes. Black, not metaphorically, not shadowed. Black, oozing, melting. His jaw unhinged, snapping sideways. I floored it. Didn't look back. Just before Flagstaff, the fog rolled in. Thick, choking like cotton soaked in vinegar. Lights barely cut through. Then the GPS blinked out. My dash lights died. Trailer? Dead weight. Like dragging a mountain. I pulled over by instinct, not sight. Total silence. Until the trailer door opened. On its own. I didn't unlock it. Didn't move. It just creaked. I got out, tire iron raised, heart hammering. The door was wide, empty, no straps, no crates, nothing. But the floor, it was wet, covered in a black, tar-like sludge that smoked in the cold air. Footprints led out of the trailer. Bare, human, and something else. At the edge of the fog, a figure stood. Too tall, limbs too long. It whispered something I didn't hear with my ears. I heard it in my head. You delivered me. Now I deliver you. It raised a hand, and I blacked out. I woke up in the cab. Daylight. Parked at a truck stop north of Flagstaff. The trailer, still sealed. Manifest, still blank. But now written in sharp, burned letters across the back. Next time, don't look. I opened the trailer myself. Nothing inside. No black sludge. No cargo. No trace of what happened. I reported the run as completed. Dispatcher never called back. That rig? I sold it 2 days later. Never touched it again. But sometimes, on empty desert roads, when my mirrors catch the right light, I see the trailer. My trailer. Following me, with the door wide open. And something inside, waiting for the next driver to stop.